During his trip to Thailand, Barack Obama met with the country's Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, who many observers rate near the top of the list in the looks department, as far as national leaders are concerned. Now, a couple of posters on Weibo noted that she and the U.S. president would make quite a delicious duel, as a matter of fact, and this sentiment generated a discussion on the topic of the world's hottest politicians. In addition to the American chief executive and Thai head of government, some of the names garnering the most mentions are Venezuelan opposition figure Henrique Capriles, Jordan's Queen Rania, Bhutan's King Khesar, and former Ukraine Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko. All have pockets of support from respondents using social media. Let's take a look at what they have to say.
Those two look pretty good in the picture. I think there are a lot of foreign leaders that are quite good looking. I think having good looks for a leader is quite important since it makes them more charismatic.
Yingluck Shinawatra has served as Prime Minister of Thailand since her party swept to a majority in the 2011 parliamentary election. And at just 45 years old, she's the country's first female head of government, as well as its youngest leader in 6 decades. Her brother, Thaksin Shinawatra, ruled the nation from 2001 until he was overthrown in 2006 and went into exile. Now, during last year's political campaign, Yingluck had to overcome charges that she would merely act as a puppet and put his supporters back into positions of power. Instead, she has pursued her own agenda, which includes reconciliation in the wake of military crackdowns, anti-poverty programs, tax reforms, and disaster prevention measures. Now, Yingluck has quickly passed her brother in popularity. Let's take a look at what Weibo users have to say.
She is really pretty. Although I can't really tell if she looks Thai, I think she looks more South Chinese. Not only is she pretty for her age, but she's quite politically savvy as well. A dangerous combination, I'd say. I wonder why we don't have a woman in China's top-level political positions.
Henrique put up a spirited challenge this past summer, but ultimately lost to incumbent Hugo Chavez in his bid to become president of Venezuela. Now, election was held in early October, and the former governor from the state of Miranda is now looking to write the next chapter in his political life. Now, the 40-year-old leader of the Justice First Party, which he co-founded in 2000, became mayor of Baruta shortly afterwards. He also survived an array of challenges from the ruling coalition as well as other rivals, and dramatically reduced the local crime rate during his tenure at City Hall. He moved on to State House in 2008 and made education a main pillar of his administration's platform, opening 39 new schools before leaving office earlier this year. And he has a lot of fans on Weibo. Let's take a look.
This guy has to be the most handsome politician I have ever seen. This guy is just too good looking. Chavez won't let him win, otherwise he'd have it all.
The former Rania Al Yassin is the wife of Jordan's King Abdullah II. Now 42 years old, she married the future monarch in 1993, and they have gone on to have 4 children. He ascended to the throne in February of 1999 and proclaimed her as queen a month later. She has used her position to advance a variety of causes focusing on children and education. Queen Rania first ventured into social activism by establishing the Jordan River Foundation in 1995 and was invited to join the Global Leadership Initiative of the UN Children's Fund 5 years later, and initiated the Fund for the Future for Orphans in 2003. Now, Harper's and Queen magazine ranked her as the world's most beautiful consort last year, and Rania has plenty of fans in China who absolutely agree. Let's take a look.
I like Queen Rania. She's the Middle Eastern Princess Diana. She is definitely one of the most beautiful royals I have ever seen. Could be a beauty queen.
King Wingchuk of Bhutan is just 32 years old, but he has held power since his father stepped down in 2006. He was the planet's youngest head of state until Kim Jong-un took over the DPRK last year. Now, Khesar entered the spotlight at an early age, accompanying King Xingyi on foreign tours as a teenager and representing the country at the UN General Assembly in 2002. And while in Thailand for King Bhumibol's 60th anniversary bash 4 years later, The media nicknamed him Prince Charming, and local interest in traveling to Bhutan hit an all-time high. He took over for his dad in December of 2006, although the process wasn't fully completed until his crowning in November of 2008. He married 21-year-old Jetsun Pima last year, so sorry to the ladies who were looking to become the Queen of Bhutan. Okay, let's take a look at a few comments.
I think the King of Bhutan has star qualities. He's very progressive with his policies. He kind of reminds me of Chow Yun-fat.
Yulia Tymoshenko was the Ukraine prime minister in 2005 and again from 2007 until 2010, but is now serving a prison sentence for alleged corruption while brokering a gas deal with Russia 3 years ago. Now, some officials from the European Union and other organizations have repeatedly called for her release, claiming that her punishment was politically motivated. The 51-year-old Tymoshenko rose to fame as an energy entrepreneur in the 1990s before entering government services at the end of the decade. And after a disputed presidential election in 2004, protesters took to the streets in what became known as the Orange Revolution. Now, she was appointed prime minister following the unrest. Tymoshenko is easily recognized due to her distinctive braided hairstyle, and she also has a lot of fans on Weibo. Let's take a look.
I used to think that she was really pretty. Still can't believe how old she is. Too bad she's now in prison. She's no ordinary woman. I wonder if she used her good looks to her advantage.
There is no requirement that politicians need to be good-looking, of course, but based on the impressions these five figures have made with Chinese internet users, it doesn't hurt. And what's most important, however, is that they have the brains to back up their beauty in order to solve the problems every nation invariably has to face. Now, those who can rise to the top of that particular list will not only be celebrated today, but also remembered for generations to come.